Welcome back, everybody, to HGC Korea. We are tied up 1-1. Raven is able to take a game off of Tempest here. An unusual circumstance, but with Tempest definitely playing around a little bit in this series, swapping players on their roles, playing unusual heroics, and came back to bite them in that last game. And if they end up losing this series, they're going to have big regrets, I feel, as to how they've decided to play this one so far.
That's right, and losing against Raven can be very painful, actually. Can bite back more when you go into that playoff. I feel like that's going to be something to look out at. But map number 3 actually chosen from Raven as they took off a map off of Tempest. We're going to Sky Temple. The question is, of course, again, are we going to see Duck on Cassia one more time, as he has been going into way too deep of a position all the time, and he was the one to be taken out from beginning of the fight all the time in Cursed Hollows game number 2. But now, is he going to bring out his specialty, Probius? 100% win rate on this map especially.
Well, I hope so. And they've definitely been trying to have a lot of fun tonight. I will give them that. So that's what I want to see. I wanted to see it in their last series. They didn't show it to me. We will have to wait and see if he's bringing it out. So moving to this third map. Raven is on the opposite side of things, taking this series very seriously. They brought us some good Genji drafts. Their team fighting has been on point. H82 looking pretty good today. It was Hamlin's Genji that was the strongest.
Yeah, that's right. And Hamlin actually looks about as good or even better with this team pump compared to what we saw from some other KR Genji was Dami, because he was in MVP Miracle, bringing some cool Genji action. There's a first Tyrael ban already. So maybe this time Team Tempest is thinking about some other strategies and team comp.
Zeratul ban going to come out. Will we see Tempest's first Genji?
Let's see. We are waiting for it.
My prediction is hide placement.
Oh, there's a Probius hover.
No! No! Don't do it!
Just think about it. Do not click. Once more.
No, no, no.
I think it's also okay though. Tempest will have Zeratul first pick, will be very likely. And Modern Life can just go back to his normal role.
Do you think that's going to happen though?
I'm hoping.
Ah, Nazebo!
Oh, Nazebo's actually...
They're targeting Duck's normal hero pool.
That's exactly what I thought. Also, he's playing... I think his hero pool is just way too big right now.
Okay, they go with a Muradin instead at the end.
He can also play Sivana sometimes, Sergeant Hammer, Tychus. He's really a flex. There's the first pick, Zeratul. As we see.
He has to wear the High Templar skin now.
It's going to be Genji versus Zeratul. I'm excited about this.
Zeratul's got to wear the High Templar skin because apparently Dark Templar aren't allowed in the Nexus right now. Insta-lock on the ETC. There's the Tychus. This draft is flying.
Wow. Already, I believe most of the damage for both teams already picked up. Nazebo is going to look for that late game scaling, of course. And ETC will try to block that from happening with all the power slides in, trying to gank in, pick off Nazebo, try to delay their EXP soak.
Karazim will be the choice, it looks like, here for
would a Karazim and just a Falstad, I think Tempest will have an excellent draft, so that's why exactly Raven is thinking about banning that Karazim.
So the ban here for Tempest now could be on another tank to lock out the tank pool. Like, this could be an Arthas ban or potentially a Nubarok ban. I know it sounds weird, but there's not a whole lot of choices left for Raven at this point. They might just go down the Stitches path with Malfurion, which would then really hurt Tempest because they'll have to go to a third-tier support.
Yeah, so I think Maf was the safer choice. There were lots of options in the tank line. I think that pairs up with Malfurion, even Diablo. So instead of banning a warrior here, they went for the support.
It's kind of a wonky situation now because we're going to see a weird support in this one. Uther comes out. Raven has control over this. It's going to be good with the Genji. What tank is it going to be, though? We still haven't been able to see the Arthas with the Genji. That's what I've been really wanting all weekend long. It has not come to me. I'm unlucky in that regard. This could be the time. Nope, just going to be Stitches instead.
Stitches again to pair up with Uther's hammer along with the zombie wall also. Uther already gone. Uther, mouth, carries him gone. So Hyde is on the camera of which support to take. Some available, as we also saw. I think Tyrande can have a comeback with ETC. That's a very strong CC pair. As we just had a major rework on Tyrande. Seems very strong right now.
That's true.
Of course, not live.
Not live yet.
Not live on our tournament server yet.
Probably will be for the playoffs, but I don't know if that's been confirmed yet.
I would love to see it on playoff, or maybe even mid-season brawl. And there was also Alarak changes too.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with Alarak, especially because he's used here already quite a bit in Korea, and we'll see him sometimes. Oh boy, Zul! Is that it? Are we out of heroes that have not been played? No, there's still no Gazlo.
Still no Gazlo.
There's the Rhaegar. So Gazlo's the only hero I believe that has
Gazlo
not
and
been
Rexar
are
the only two heroes not used in the entire season of Season 1, but Zul has not been picked even once until now.
Well, let's say
instead of Probius, I think they went a little bit around and picked Zul instead. That's also a very clutch pick, I think.
So this is going to be really strong against the Genji if you can time out the root well. It's tough to do. The Genji will just root himself somewhere else as soon as it gets placed onto him. But if he has already dashed, for example, that could be one really cool way to lock him down, stop him using his cyber agility to escape.
You can also go for the Nova when Genji comes in, hit that poison to do.
The main reason Zul is going to exist here is going to be to soak the lanes. Probably going to be either hard pushing bot, or he can double soak top and mid. So we'll see if Tempest wants to like 4-man the bot and then have him rotate, or if they just want to leave Zul solo bot. There's a few different options as to how he can be used. Still pretty decent distance between the lanes on this map. It's not like you know, Tomb of the Spider Queen or anything like that where he can soak so hard. Nubrock will be the secondary tank here, so it's going to be a tough front line to break through for Genji and the Zebo. So we're going to go into this game now. Game number 3 here on Sky Temple. Raven as Joju on Uther, Hamlin once again on the Genji, NMX on the Zebo, Diong on Stitches, and H82 on Anubarak.
And in red, Tempest, Hyde on Rhaegar, Duck on Zul, Lockdown on Taika, Sign on ETC, and Modern Life on Zeratul. They're back.
We're back.
They're back to take the series away from Raven, so make sure Raven cannot have a single series win in season number 1.
Got that rooster mount. Hook onto Modern Life. He's got the blink to get out immediately.
There's the power slide in, comes around from the side of Hyde. There's a lockdown onto Hamlin for the time being, but the Swift away. Zeratul comes around from the side and picks onto Nazebo. Actually, there's a kill onto Zul too. That's a good trade. And actually picks off Genji at the same time.
Joju's going to struggle to get out of here as well. Does heal himself several times. Hyde goes in for the attack here. Want to make this a even better trade for them.
He wanted to taunt a little bit because there was Sign coming out from the side, and also with the help of Zeratul, maybe they could have had more picks.
So Rhaegar going to go for Lightning Bond here. It's going to help him do a little bit more extra damage in these team fights. Probably going to be used on ETC for the majority of the time, but will sometimes be used on Modern Life Zeratul. And power slide comes in. H82 does get away.
Of course, it's going to be a little bit harder to gank onto Nubarak, as Nubarak can just dive away.
He's unstoppable while diving. Used to be invincible, but will now take damage while charging. Going to be Tychus soloing the top temple for the time being.
Now there's a lane swap onto Zul. He's going to go all the way to the bot, have that strong push as they're going to just trade this top and the middle temple. Fighting over this watchtower for the moment, but seems like they're just going to go down. And overall, the Zeebo also has a pretty decent wave clear, so Zul has to rotate. That's right. Zul has to come up and try to control both lanes, just like in Bay. We don't see much of Zul in Korea because lots of Koreans think that Zul is only good in Bay, especially have that control over the bot lane, strong bot lane, or the top middle push by himself.
Yep. And the he could be used in a similar fashion here, as we're kind of seeing already. But actually going to go for the pick here, actually, onto the Zeebo. No escape, no ice block yet. He does go down. Allen comes over, but the counter is very late. And Deong, the really unusual pathing here. Hyde's going to have another Bone Prison in a second. Oh, I think he's just going to go down. Down he goes. That was not the way he wanted to come down. If he was going to come to help, should have gone the longer path around little marketplace over here.
And also try to get some hooks into the wall so he can actually get picks with Hamelin's help. Not the safest path that he took just now. It's going to be 2 kills going for Tempest and Hyde, of course. Rehgar, we tend to forget how much damage Rehgar can actually do. He can win a 1v1 against Li Ming too.
And now he's got Feral Heart, so he will just be more sustainable as he rotates between the lanes. Won't have to Hearth as often.
Oh, that feels good. Clearing the wave in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I remember when Zul first came out, I won 22 games in a row of him when before his damage was reduced.
And
he
also
was so broken.
Also in Korea, Zul was his first win every single time, every single day.
Oh,
barely!
That would have been
missed.
So slick if he actually got that.
That's right.
So, Rehgar can also clear camps. One of the only sports that can do it this quickly. Our Life's going to pick off this extra cannon tower, so they're going to take a whole level lead from all of this. And Zul is just doing so much to soak. He actually has almost killed the top fort with the pressure he's putting in that lane right now. With the camp, I think there's, either if they don't send anyone else up to help Anubarak, he definitely will, and they aren't. So, going to be a top fort kill. First to die in this game. Deong comes in alone here. Ooh. That was just an overextension, I guess is the best way to put it.
Caught off guard all the time, and Jules Dugdug also steps over the line a little bit more.
Still gets out there. The Bone Prison makes it easy to escape. That's the quote-unquote escape that Zul has. It's not really an escape.
It's a defense. It's kind of like Johanna, of course, not unstoppable at the moment. But also he's really going for that skeletal build, have that stronger push later on.
Yep, this is the Zul build. It was nerfed heavily back in the day when he first came out, but it's been since. Well, I say it just hasn't changed even still. He hasn't been used that much, but it's going to be the mages coming out. So he's going to look to isolate targets like Genji, add that extra damage in. Be very powerful, especially against hooks too. Stop hooks from coming in. So they have 10 so much faster. They're the mages now.
And Dugdug is so aggressive as he has his teammate right below him. And Raven is still not 10, so they need to take a lot of time. And also Uther going for that Silver Touch again to have the reduced mana cost later on once the quest is completed.
I actually really hope Zul makes a return to the meta in Korea. He's such a fun hero to watch, and he's so unique in how he operates. He's like a specialist that's melee with really cool kit. I like to see things like what Dugdug just did in the top lane, super aggressive. Just continue to keep that hyper pressure on while now Tempest will take the boss.
I think all the heroes like Zul and Probius and Zagara fits Dugdug so well.
Yeah.
Against the split pushing heroes and also the siege potential, the specialist especially, fits his personality and how he plays the game really well.
Yeah. Well, he can just clear this super easy. No problems here with all the pressure he had on. There was full mana on those. Hamlin in trouble here. Does get the heal and that armor. You can see how much of an impact it makes.
That's 1-0 for 0-2. That zombie wall insta-gone.
Zombies just came back from the dead to die again. That was pretty funny.
That was actually pretty funny. And Raven just at 10 and dives right in with H82, but not much of a follow-up yet. He's going to clear this wave for now. X-Strike again, and with Cocoon, Hamlin's going diving in once more.
Oh, the hook on the lockdown. That is going to be a death. Ancestral, he tried to go for it.
Oh, even the Cocoon again. Jewel is away at the moment. Zeratul is just going to run away. Wave Prison looks like cannot save him from this hectic zombie wall along with Gargantuan. Everything else together.
It's just a slight overextension for Tempest. Dug is still split pushing top. So he wants to get this keep wall down, and there's no rotation to punish him, in fact. We will see the movement of Uther actually with the minion wave in mid, so he's in the back away.
That's exactly what Raven needed. When they hit 10, H82 dived in. It didn't feel like they were diving in too heavily, but Hamlin came along and tried to pick on the right targets, and Cocoon made a big difference there. Caught off guard a little bit.
There's going to be an even trade between these two. 13 talent tier advantage for Tempest currently. All the pushing they've gotten done. It was a big win for Raven, but all they were really able to accomplish for it with that win in those two picks was to just go even on these temples. And now Diyoung is actually going to get picked. H82 was looking to come in. I think he should definitely think twice about that, as Dug is going to 1v1 NMX. Nearly gets the solo kill, and will get the keep. Skeletal Mages will help secure it. And that's actually well worth it. So Raven, they got 2 picks, but they really didn't accomplish anything with it. Even Shrines and lost the keep. They've had some good macro play on Cursed Hollow, but this is not the same level of what we saw them play on Cursed just on the previous map.
Already losing a keep at 8:30, and they do not have the best wave clear for themselves. That's going to cost big later on when they have to really catch on with the EXP. It's going to delay them even further back because they have to clear the wave on top, and think about that every single time when they engage somewhere else.
Divine Shield coming in with the X-Strike just feels like wasted potential on the side of Raven.
I think it's more of a safety for Nazeebo.
Yeah.
Or even Diyoung whenever he oversteps.
Yeah, whenever Diyoung does something crazy. Yeah, Lockdown's actually caught here. Everyone needs to rotate down. They're coming.
But not going to make it.
I don't think it's going to be in time. Didn't even pop the Odin there. He knew that was pretty unlikely to escape scenario. It was a 5-man commitment though, so Tempest continue to soak extra, and the top keep pressure is so frustrating now. It's going to be the bruiser pressure plus the catapults. You're going to have 2 catapults with this next wave. It's going to force NMX to go back and deal with that.
This would have been a very good boss timing, but boss is still, you need a minute and a half more to get the boss. So Raven really couldn't do anything after the pick. Actually, they're even getting more pressured because of this top lane push.
Yeah. There's not decisive enough to take advantages. Like you said, the boss would have been the nice one. Blind hook here over the wall for Diyoung. So, Shrines coming up here. Temples, I should say.
Somewhat luckily for Raven because they had to clear up that top lane.
Yeah.
And it's in between.
It's going to be a double for the initial part of these temples. Which is going to really hurt this mid keep.
Lots of shots already fired, and
okay, they're going to come in now. Commitment of 4. It's actually a 4v4 still, though. They don't even need Zeratul necessarily. Sign well positioned here to drop down a mosh pit. There it is. It's a double. No interrupt.
No interrupt. And Zeratul comes around from the side. All he has to look for is a great voice person to stop all the Nazeebo's damage is canceled for all that moment. And the Nubarak is the first one to be down.
Dug gets the Ancestral, too. And that was an interrupt on the mosh by the Protector, the Guardian on the Temple. That Divine Shield is going to save him for a second, but Modern Life does have the ability to jump back in. This is going to be a quad kill. Hamlin is respawned. There's nothing he can accomplish here.
There's the ice block, but just for a few more seconds, and the Uther, that soul was healing him, but not enough. And in perfect time, they're going to boss again.
They can boss and try to double temple here. The mid temple is already being fired. Duck's pushing in mid. Good coordination here by Tempest. And they're going to even come over here and punish Hamlin, leaving the boss to be duo done here with the Lightning Bond. This is a lot easier. They'll clean this up. Now they can look to double tempo while the boss pressure is bought. Top is going to have 3 catapults with this current wave. This is just nasty. Tempest has every advantage in the book.
That's how you snowball this game. That's how you snowball in Sky Temple, just like how Tempest is doing right now. Have that strong wave push, really taking that keep down with Zul alone, costing his life, but that was the big point at 8:30-ish. And after that, you can just snowball so much harder with the tempo control. If you have that keep pushed from the beginning of the game, Nazeebo still needs a lot of time, but I think the game actually may be done before hitting that level 20.
Yeah, could be. Locked out with a nice avoid there on the hook. HA2 is looking for the flank here, coming around. Drops a cocoon onto that Odin. So some damage missing. The Void actually dropping several of the fight. The Skeletal Mage is doing a lot of damage. Sign comes in with the power slide. He has Mosh available. He's holding on to it. X-Strike coming down. Hamlin actually will get rooted. He's got the Divine Shield to avoid it.
Lockdown has been getting a lot of damage. Modern Life comes along, but he's very low. Cannot help the team fight at all. Sign is just mosh pitting for the time being to save his teammate. Is that going to be enough? Duck will find himself in the dead zone. Along with
look
Hyde
at the core. Core is going to be under attack by so much here in just a minute. They're going to have to run back right now. They get the wipe, with the exception of Hamlin just barely surviving. But again, there's not much on the map for them to take. They can go take the temple. They can't get much else. They can't go try to threaten bot keep or anything like that because the core pressure is so strong. And now they're going to have catapults against them all game long. So an incredible fight by Raven. They're going to need to take several more like that one in order to win this game.
Within the next few minutes, when the next tempo phase, I think Raven should actually hold on to this tempo instead and try to take all camps, have the map control, paint the map blue when they have the lead, and then really fight near the tempo. When the next tempo phases happen, maybe 2 tempo, then I think they are out of option when all lanes are pushed from them for themselves.
Well, they're going to kind of do something similar to what you suggest. They're just going to do the tempo at the same time. They're still trying to get all the camps in this small window of time. Don't know if they'll be able to steal this one. Assign has seen this early. Remember, Lockdown's still kind of a soft counter to Nazeebo. The more tanky he gets, the more value he gets out of that minigun in the late game. So, not going to be able to steal this one, it doesn't look like. Ooh, nice placement on the zombie wall. Okay, there's the hook coming in on Sign. He's very low, actually. X-Strike comes in, does not connect. Allen with the protect on himself there, the deflection. Looks like Lockdown's going to get out. Modern Life with a great Void Prison here. Gets healed by the Ancestral. Void Prison expires. Sign's looking for a big mosh. It's not actually ready yet. 10 seconds to go. Almost looked like he forgot about there because that would have been an amazing moment for a mosh, but he just didn't have it yet. And it ends up being a 2-for-1 trade. Advantage Raven.
There was actually the perfect spot to hit that R button, have almost 3 or 4 man mosh, but it was on like 10 plus second cooldown.
10 or 12. Okay, they're looking for the pick on the Diong here. He's been super aggressive all game long.
And their core is under attack, but they can turn this around, and they're picking onto NMX, and Modern Life is just going to blink away now. Nubarok's going to join the fight soon.
Diong has always been the weak link of Raven in today's matches. He's playing back on the tank. Looked to play a little bit better when he was flexing onto range DPS. And we saw him play, quite a few heroes in that regard. But today, that overextension is really working well for Tempest. As even though he survived there, it cost Nazeebo his life on the defense to try to get out of that situation. 20's up for Tempest now first. Tempest may have ended up losing this game if they had not gotten those early keeps. That's so critical. Bone Spear is a huge power spike for Zul. Now he gets a lot of extra damage.
Everything out, rewind, and ETC just holding that 20.
He needs to rewind to get out of here.
X-Strike.
He may still not. Okay, there's the heal coming in.
And now Hamlin does not have an escape. There's the mosh pit. Divine Shield is going to save. There's a Torbus! Catches onto Uther, but not much of a follow, actually. They lost all the damage because Tychus was cocooned this entire time.
Okay, there's the kill onto Modern Life.
Oh my goodness, is Raven going to turn this one around? It seems like it.
They've just been winning every fight since they lost all their keeps.
locking down with a cocoon onto Tychus. They did not have any damage following up. Already Mosh Pit used on the cooldown of 86 seconds now.
The heal's coming out onto Deong. He's looking for the hook. Oh, just barely missing it. So another fort goes down, but they still have all their keeps. His Unshin is complete, so a lot of extra deflection damage coming out now. He's been actually hitting some really good deflects this game. Look at all this keep pressure, or the catapult pressure from the lack of keeps.
That's gonna really stop them from.
Eventually, they're gonna have to let this shrine go if Tempest wants to hold on to it.
This is why I said they're gonna be out of Boston very soon.
They just need it. I mean, they're winning every fight, which they have to. But they're still just taking baby steps. Like, it took them like 3 team fight wins to get a fort. All the keeps still standing. They have to back off again and deal with this.
Look at all that red right next to the core. Nazeebo.
Yeah, look at the core health. Already losing shields right now. If they actually get stuck here and can't go home, they're going to lose a lot more than that. Nazeebo does clear it, though, himself.
It's not really relieving any pressures onto all 3 lanes. They have to make the hard push along with the team fight.
Look, NMX is not here because he's dealing with the top push. This is an opportunity for Tempest.
Mosh is available in 6.
Okay, there's the Skeletal Defenders. HGC goes in the front. There's a Void.
There's a Cocoon onto lockdown.
Once
Void
again.
to stall the time. The Void has been used for the counter of Cocoon, actually, to stall a lot of the times the back line of Raven when the Cocoon goes off.
I think one of the reasons why Tempest is struggling in these team fights is they don't have any damage.
There's the Mosh Pit, and
Torbas.
the Torbas connecting onto Stitches is going to be enough. There's a Divine Shield.
Modern Life taking so much damage. The dash comes in.
I don't think he has Rewind. He cannot blink away.
Part of the reason why they're losing these fights is because the Cocoon is taking Tychus out of the fight over and over again. And during that time, Zul is just not a DPS. So that's the weakness of Zul, is he's just not really good in team fighting.
Sign's just going to go around stall
He
time.
actually could get out of this, potentially. Hyde's not going to, though, and there's a reset on the dash. Lockdown's in trouble.
There is no escape from this. Not going to pop the Odin, but there's no way out. I think they can actually go for the core now. They can go for a keep at least.
Yeah, they need to at least get a keep here.
Or
they can double temple and leave Nazeebo to clear. I think that's the safest way after boss. So boss.
For boss even?
Going for boss and double temple, I think is the way here.
Go greedy and go single temple and force the team fight on the single temple right after. I think that is the best choice for them right now. But this is a strong push, and Nubarak has to come back now.
It's a Nubarak that comes back because they wanted the extra damage from NMX.
Trying to backdoor with the pressure on too. He's not going to core for sure. He's not Illidan.
He has the Bone Spear damage, but yeah, it's not going to be enough. Forcing all the hearts back. Still, they get the boss and the double temple, just like I said, and they clear. HGC did die in the top lane off screen, so there's another pick. They're going to look for the pick on the Duck Duck. And we talk about how Duck Duck doesn't do that much damage in team fights. Doesn't do much damage when he's dead either. So even the Benediction used for the double stun on the Duck Duck.
Now Nazeebo's here, even more damage. That's going to be a kill for sure. Double temple.
The double temple will lead to at least 2 keeps, it looks like here. And we talked about the huge edge that the pressure in the lanes gives Tempest. Now it's all gone. And when you compare Zul to Nazeebo, Nazeebo scales better into the late game. They both serve a similar purpose as specialists, but Nazeebo's a better team fighter. And Zul can't split push anymore. The pressure's relieved. The only pressure they have to deal with is top. And they did just fine when they had triple pressure against them. So the comeback is real here now for Raven. I'd actually venture to say they're massively ahead at this point because they have the 3-level lead. And they've even damaged this last keep. They're going to get about 2/3 of it with the last shots here, H82.
So the top keeps barely not going to finish even with the last shots.
Yeah.
It seems like so they want to go ahead and keep the pressure onto the top lane so their last keep does not fall in a short time.
And this Bruiser Camp will help relieve some of that pressure. This is really terrifying for Tempest. They are having a bad time now in the late game. And the play we've seen at Hammond on the Genji is pretty good. It's really rivaled that of Dami's, as you said earlier. And they can't really backdoor this keep right now, so just going to wait for an opportunity to win a fight. Tempest is actually positioned around the bot lane right now. I thought they might let it sneak in.
There's no boss and there's no keep. Last keep standing on to Tempest is very low at the same time.
Alright, so
there we go around trying to look for picks. See if anyone's off guards right now.
let's see if they can take a fight with Duck Duck basically hold that thought. Sign gets caught here.
They're a little bit too early. Genji is away at the moment.
They need to take a fight when Lockdown is not in the cocoon. So if they could just avoid this fight now. Okay, now he's out of the cocoon. This is their best chance. They actually have the DPS here. Good Void Prison.
There's a triple
this is their
Void
moment.
Prison. Hamlin is looking for his way in from the side. There's the ice block onto the Zebo. Mosh Pit does not connect at the NMX though.
Okay, big damage coming out from Odin. Will it be enough? Sign gets very low. There's just too much damage coming out from the Zebo Spiders. That's the issue here in terms of DPS. The Zebo is a real DPS. Zul is not. Down goes Modern Life.
The catapults will be on the core, and the Zebo goes hearts right back home. I think this temple will do straight damage onto core at the later shots too.
So that keep is going to go down immediately, and yes, it will. It will go down. They will go to the core in about after like 2 or 3 shots.
And Moshpit is not available for 80 more seconds. That's a big threat, and Raven knows that.
He didn't Torbus early. He waited there when the Zebo was in the ice block, hoping he was going to get the follow-up, but it didn't happen. He was interrupted. This is if Tempest loses this fight, they lose the game, and they have to try to take it 4v5.
H82 dives right in. The damage coming out from the spiders is real. Even Cocoon used already.
Hey.
Zeratul was not here. He's still dead.
Lockdown
is caught. Ancestral healing himself, but there's no mosh pit. There's
X-Strike.
X-Strike.
Huge
Crazy.
X-Strike. And now he's got the Divine Shield. He's going to pick off Sign. That is going to be game. Raven with the massive comeback here. And this is one of the reasons why we don't usually see Zul in competitive play. Just doesn't scale well into the late game, even with the Bone Spear. Just can't do enough damage. They removed Lockdown from the fight consistently with, first of all, the cocoons, then going into excellent target selection. Whenever he was exposed, they went directly for him, diving on top of him, killing him early. Constant harass coming out from Hamlin as well. Well played. That was Raven's best game, I feel like, in this tournament. Very careful and safe late game there. They knew going to late game was going to scale better for them. They played passively when they needed to, and that was, they had 3 keeps down for about, I want to say like 8 minutes or so. That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure you're right. And Tempest had all their keeps and possibly even all the walls on the keeps too. That was
and they had
incredible
forts.
Game.
They had forts too. They had 2 forts up. Like, what? So the removal of the DPS coming out from Tychus over and over again. I know this sounds like a novel, or it doesn't sound like a novel concept to you guys who watch EU, but for us, like, to actually see Zul, or sorry, Nubrock in competitive play, I'm like, what if you could just remove all the damage?